that?
When the photographers ask for a picture, just smile. That's what we do. We keep smiling.
You're both incorrigible beggars. Now, off with you. Go on. Well, it may not be caviar and pate, but it was tasty now, wasn't it?
It was delicious, Dad.
Well, I told you about the goat we cooked up during the trouble in Cyprus. I don't suppose you've come down here to listen to old war stories. God knows you've heard them all before. Well, is it true what I read in the papers about you and Prince Andrew?
There's nothing official, really.
I see. I suppose I must ask you the inevitable question now, mustn't I?
I really think I am in love with him.
You think?
It's so difficult to sort out one's feelings sometimes. What with all the publicity and what have you. I keep asking myself if I'd feel the same way if he weren't fourth in line to the throne.
I'll tell you this. Your life would be a great deal easier if he weren't. You've no idea what it's like living in that fishbowl. The press won't leave you alone. Wherever you go, whatever you do, they'll be at you.
I suppose one adjusts. Diana's been doing it for 5 years.
You're not Diana Spencer, my dear. You don't have her money or her connections. I may have played polo with the Duke of Edinburgh, but there's a world of difference between Earl Spencer and myself, not the least of which is several £1 million and a title. Have you spoken to your mother?
I rang her last week.
What did she say?
She said I should listen to my heart.
I don't think I could improve on that advice.
Dad's, it's all such a dream.
Andrew and Sarah returned to Flore's castle on the weekend of February 23rd. Sarah had no idea what was in store for her when she boarded the plane for Newcastle, once again traveling under the alias of Miss Anwell.
Oh, what a lovely evening. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Andrew? Come in.
Hello. Room service. Your champagne, madam. Oh, perhaps you'd better get on with this before I pop the cork. Sarah Ferguson. Sarah. Would you have me as your husband?
If you wake up tomorrow morning and change your mind, you can tell me it's all a huge joke and it'll be okay.
On July 23rd, the Queen's second son, Prince Andrew, will walk down the aisle of Westminster Abbey with Sarah Ferguson, a 26-year-old commoner who, like Diana Spencer 5 years before her, will marry into the royal family in a marriage ceremony broadcast around the world.
This one's awfully nice.
bit frumpy, don't you think?
There's the navy suit, which will go well with your hair.
Andrew's already seen that twice.
May I make a suggestion?
Of course.
Don't you think the Sloane Ranger look is getting a bit tired?
Well, Andrew likes it.
Unfortunately, Andrew's not the only one that matters now. There are 57 million people in this country. And believe me, they will all have an opinion on what you should and shouldn't wear. And they won't be shy in expressing it. Should we have a look at the Alistair Blair now?
I don't think I can get into that.
Just don't exhale.
I don't think I'm going to survive this.
There's nothing to it. Just pretend you're playing cricket. The faster they bowl, the harder you hit it back. Oh, God, here we go. Go on. Good luck.
How long have the two of you known each other?
About 20 years, actually. Sarah used to pinch my cap at polo.
Is that true, Sarah?
Well, he was awfully stuck up and wouldn't talk to anyone.
That's not true. I was merely watching the match.
Sarah, what about your job? Are you going to give it up?
Well, I enjoy my work enormously. Of course, when Andrew is away, I shall work harder than when he's at home.
We've discussed it, actually, and we think it's a good idea if Sarah continued to work.
Sarah, what was it that made you say yes?
Well, his wit and charm, I suppose. No, seriously, we get on quite well. We're an awfully good team.
And you, Prince Andrew?
Well, her hair. I've always loved long red hair. Actually, it's Titian. Promise me you'll never cut it short.
I promise.
May we have a look at the ring?
Lovely, isn't it?
I helped in the design.
What about a wedding dress?
Oh, I've barely had the time to think about it.
It's top security. We have MI5 on it.
Sarah, are you looking forward to being in public life?
I think I'm going to enjoy it immensely. With Andrew's help, I will cope. It's all terribly exciting. To tell you the truth, I'm over the moon.
We are both over the moon. And we'll be even more so when this interview is over.
Did this belong to Miss Ferguson?
Yes, it did. But she didn't want it. She said that I could give it to my new flatmate.
Sorry, it has to go.
Look, I mean, really, is all of this necessary?
By order of the palace.
They're selling them everywhere now.
So I gather.
While agents from the Royal Protection Service went through her flat, we went through the rubbish bins. Fergie mania soon swept the country. There were Fergie dolls and Fergie mugs and hundreds of magazine articles about the life of Sarah Ferguson. For security purposes, Sarah was moved into rooms at Buckingham Palace. Diana took Sarah to some of the best shops in London. The Princess of Wales and the future Duchess of York were a major attraction wherever they went.
Yeah, because...
Their most celebrated exploit was the night they dressed up as policemen, with costumes borrowed from a film prop house by an actress friend, to raid Andrew's bachelor party.
What seems to be the problem, officers?
Just checking everything's in order.
We'd just like to have a look around.
Is this really necessary?
I'm afraid so. Regulations.
We won't be a minute.
Ladies, officers!
But Andrew had outfoxed them,
Oh, this could be him now.
moving his bachelor party to a private house in Holland Park, and the coppers had to beat a hasty retreat to Buckingham Palace.
me, sir. Have you got any identification?
What?
It was as if a breath of fresh air had entered the royal family. The nation was caught up in the euphoria of the approaching wedding.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
In keeping with tradition, Sarah spent her last night as a commoner in Clarence House, the Queen Mother's residence.
How will I ever manage to negotiate down the aisle with this monstrosity attached to me?
You'll have your